Shabbat Shalom, Yashua. All the DFG. Hey, my brothers and sisters. I hope each and every one of you have had a very productive week. I hope your week has brought enlightenment to you, and hope you've taken some time to reflect upon what you're doing and preparing for the resurrection, for lack of a better word, not using, as you know, Christian dogma. Let me bring Nina in here. Hallelujah. There, Nina. But that you've actually taken this week for growth and reflection and, understanding that Yahuah is about to turn this whole thing upside down. The earth I'm talking about. He's about to kick some ass and take some names. And I hope you are situating yourself so that when the ass whipping starts, you don't get yours spanked. Now that might sound like a heck of a way to come in and get into the introduction of a teaching, but that's the way this one is going to be. So if you're in your feelings today, this is a great opportunity for you to go sit your little feelings behind down somewhere and, leave us alone. You see, right now, it's a time for focus. It's a time for discipline. It's a time for accountability. And so we're going to go through, some, reflection and take a look at, what are the things that Yahuah is saying to those of us who are of his disciplined elect. And I want to emphasize that word, disciplined. See, Yahuah is not for the weak. He's just his restoration, his salvation is not for the feeble. For for those who, matter of fact, let's do this. Let's go to the word, and then we'll let the word come back to us, okay? Hallelujah. But here we go. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 1. The words of Jeremiah, the son of Yahuah, of the priests that were at Antioch in the land of Benjamin, to whom the word of Yahuah came in the days of Yahuah, the son of Ammon, king of Judah, in the 13th year of his reign. And it came also in the days of Yahuah, the son of Jashuah, king of Judah, until the end of the 11th year of Yahuah, the son of Joshua, king of Judah, unto the carrying away of Jerusalem captive in the 5th month. You think we'll be a people who are tired of getting our asses kicked, but there's always a good reason for it. For a chosen and a special people, a people, as Yahuah said, he formed you, that he knew you, he created you, you are mine. There's a whole lot of, humble pie he's constantly having to, throw in the faces of this very same people he has identified as his own. But let's continue on. Till the word of Yahuah came unto me, saying, Behold, before I formed you in the belly, I knew you. And before you came forth out of the womb, I sanctified you, and I ordained you a prophet unto the nations. Then said I, O Adonai Yahuah, behold, I cannot speak, for I am a child. Now here it is, Yahuah identifying us as his people, identifying him as chosen. And what do you hear here? Excuse making. Now I'm going to conflate this just a little bit, but I'm going to conflate the term that he's saying, look, I'm just a child. Now, we don't know necessarily if he's saying I'm a baby. He isn't. Let's be clear here. So that's why we need to extrapolate, peel back the layers, because most will read this and say, well, he's just a little baby. No, this is Jeremiah he's talking to. And so he wasn't sending an angel down next to a baby's crib and say, can you sit down with this little infant baby that's 6 months old and have a conversation, because trust me, if he was a baby, he would not be able to articulate back to Yahuah. No, brothers and sisters, this is saying I am a child of the King. I am, a child of Yasharel. Like saying I'm a son or a daughter. But in this case, it's a prophet. But the fact that he said, say not that you're a child, Jeremiah, for I knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb, I can relate to that. That's my story. But the difference for me and him is that I have the discipline. I'm not marginalizing Jeremiah. I'm just telling my brothers and sisters that excuse making ain't not going to cut it in these days. So Yahuah chose me because I'm disciplined. I'm not an excuse maker. I'm like Moses. I can love your ass and I can pull the trigger on your ass. Remember Nathan, Abiram, and Dothan in the wilderness in the book of Numbers chapter 16? You see, brothers and sisters, you can't serve two masters here. You can't. You can't serve Yahuah and then serve yourself. Because see, when you're serving Yahuah, it's all in. You guys hear talk about it all the time. 10 toes down, 2 fists high. But when you look at our behavior as a nation, as a people, very little has changed over the millenniums. Yahuah say go, we say stay. He say stop, we say do. He say you're wrong, we say we're right. He says we say we're right. He said no, your ass is wrong. And what do? As a people? Because we lack discipline, we lack fortitude. We look to blame others to carry our shit instead of carrying it ourselves. You shit in the pot, you go empty the pot you shit it in. In other words, you're accountable for your actions. You're accountable for your decisions. And because we are a people who hate knowledge, we love folly, and we love, playing. We love the blame game. Because see, in the blame game, again, it's never us. It's always somebody else. It's never you. But the thing that many of you will only understand when it's far too late, that Yahuah going to look right at you and say, nah, it was your ass. What did Isaiah say? The ox knows his owner, the ass is master's crib, or the ass knows his owner, the ox is master's crib, but my people don't know who they are, they will not consider. He didn't use ass and ox because he couldn't think of two other animals that, to use. He said, no, these are the ones that fit Yasharel's behavior. These two right here. Stubborn, rebellious, and except you put a carrot or a whip on their ass, you can't get them to move. You got to offer them something or beat the living shit out of them. This is what he's saying. So you don't have to take issue with it, but then again, you will, because that's what tender, delicate men and women actually do when they're not being catered to. But see, Yahuah he does not suffer the foolish. He said, a rod is made for the back of a fool. And he said, well, who is the fool, Elder DFG? The fool is those who rebel against Yahuah, who rebel against knowledge, who, rebel against his Torah, or rebel against his leadership, rebel against their own selves. They're too ignorant to even know it. That's why Haggai had to remind you, you're putting bags, money in bags and holes in it because you care all about yourself and you don't care about me. Thus says Yahuah. And this is what you see going on right here with Jeremiah. Yahuah said, it's you. And he's saying, well, no, it isn't. He said, yes, it is. Matter of fact, he said, I don't want to hear your excuses. Look, let's pick up what he said. But Yahuah said unto me, say not, I'm not a child, for you shall go to all that I send you, and whatsoever I command you, you shall speak. He said, don't worry about how they feel. Don't worry about what they think. Don't worry about, whether they're going to like or dislike or think you're right or think you're wrong. He said, I created them. Yeah, ignorantly, they think they created themselves. That's why they feel like they can do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it, and nobody can judge them and nobody can tell them anything. So yeah, I know. And because Yahuah does not change, did not Malachi 3 and 6 say that to us, brothers and sisters? Yahuah said, I am Elohim Yahuah, I change not. He's saying the same thing now. He said that's exactly why they're always in captivity. That is exactly why their enemies always are chasing them. He said they'll go in one way and they'll be ran out 7 other ways. He said they will fear when no one is chasing them. He said they will be a laughingstock to the whole world. He said the whole world pleasure will be putting their foot again on the necks of those people, even though they're mine. Because he said they were rebellious, a stiff-necked people. They're not Moses. He told Moses came down from the mountain when Yahuah was dealing with us, when he was trying to give Moses the tablets to help us, to strengthen us, to bless us so we go inherit the land of milk and honey. But what were we doing? Exodus 32. Down there, looking about, hoeing and playing, drinking and having fun, and thinking that's what, the walk with Yahuah is all about. Bullshit. He didn't tell Moses and the people when you're leaving out of Egypt, when you get to the wilderness, you find, then y'all could just, it's going to be we're going to just party like it's 1999, if I can use the words of the heathen prince. Where is Prince right now? He's around my age, a little bit younger possibly. His ass ain't around partying nothing in 1999. Unless you consider probably burning it most likely in hell. He made his bed, he's sleeping in it. Many of you are making your bed, and just like him, you soon to be sleeping in it as well. You play games with Yahuah by, not taking and holding yourself accountable, lacking discipline. What did David remind us of? He said the wicked do evil and hold themselves not accountable. He just said they slay the just. It's the same thing. And I bring this out because there is this plague amongst our people. Excuse making. It's excuse making. Someone else did it. Somebody else's responsibility. Oh, he talks too hard. Oh, she don't care about nobody. These are all the labels that are given when one takes a righteous stand against a world that is damned, against a people who are constantly in rebellion against the Creator. Therefore, he has constantly allowed our enemies to oppress, to suppress. Because we'd rather be, out and about having a good time, looking for an easy way out, looking to, for a way where, we don't have to do nothing but just sit on our, whatever, or not sit on our whatever. But at the end of the day, are definitely a people who refuse to hold themselves accountable for their own shit. Foolishness. Wickedness, pettiness, bitterness, jealousy, envy. Excuse making. This past Wednesday, we had very few people on the Tanakh study. Wonder why. And I'm not saying it because, or maybe I don't want you to conflate what I'm saying or read into what I'm saying. You don't have to read into what the elder says. Those who know me know I will tell you straight up what I'm talking about. I don't lack the particular gene that most of you carry with you. See, I don't lack that particular genetic. See, I don't have that particular, better said, I don't have that genetic flaw that most of you have. The lying one, the cowardly one. See, that particular gene, it missed me. Praise Yahuah for that. Oh no. I can look you right in the eye here and one-to-one and tell you exactly what I have to say to you. And be more than willing to deal with the consequences of saying it to you. That's called discipline. That's called fortitude. That's called commitment. Not looking for excuses. Not finding an excuse. Understand what is important and what isn't. So while many of you all were off doing whatever you were doing Wednesday night, a few of us, as the book says, the righteous remnant, a very small few of us, we're grounding it to powder, talking about the word, the disciplines. If some of you probably got the notes even though you weren't there. And again, I'll say it to you, and I'm not going to go through the whole process, but I'll do a quick little, overview for you. The study was a deep study. We studied Zechariah chapter 14. Most of you know about Zechariah 14. I'm coming back to Jeremiah, but we're going to eat the whole pie, the whole cake, the whole roll, as you were told Ezekiel chapter 3. 1 through 5. So eat the whole roll. So we're going to eat the whole roll on this Shabbat. But anyway, he said, we studied Zechariah chapter 14. And many of you know Zechariah chapter 14, the plague part of it. Zechariah, when he says that because of the plague in the land, that your eyes is going to melt in the sockets and your tongue is going to melt in your mouths or their mouths. The flesh will melt off of, their body, because of some plague that Yahuah is going to bring upon the earth in these last days. So that was the time I thought that was a nuclear fire. Yahuah said, no, I said plague, not fire. Yahuah said, when I mean fire, I say fire. When I mean plague, I mean plague, like disease. Like a plague that went through Egypt, killing all their firstborns. Remember that one? Reading the book of Jasher, chapter 80. So I'm going to bring another plague in these last days. So we talked about that plague and how that plague would affect one's body. Will eat your body inside out. You remember in Egypt when Yahuah put the balls on the people? Y'all remember the balls he put on their skin? How many of you guys know what a ball is? If you don't know, I know it because my little brother, when he was a baby, had asthma, really, really, really bad. And his whole head would be just soft, like pushing on like something, on your skin, but it was water, but your skin is so soft, you push on it, it comes right back up. So it's called balls on your skin. See, that's a plague. That's what it's like when you say put balls on their skin. They couldn't even move. That was Yahuah's judgment. Was it on my little brother? It probably was. I'm talking about the judgment. Because there was some very bad behavior going on with my mom and my father at the time. In particular, my mother. And Yahuah was dealing with, her child through her behavior. And by Yahuah's grace, my brother did not, lose his life. But my mother did suffer some consequences behind that. In particular from my father. And I'm not going to get into the details of it. But I show understanding. I was 7, 8 years old. I remember it. So Yahuah does not play with wickedness. He's going to judge it. So we talked about, a plague to come. Ebola is one of them they're talking about. The one that, the tapeworm or whatever type of worm, it's not a tapeworm, but it's just worm that's coming from a tick bite. If some of you saw the movie Leave the World Behind, you remember one of the characters in the movie was bitten by a tick, and within a day or two, his teeth started falling out of his mouth, blood coming out of his nose, all of his strength was gone. And I'm sure if that movie would have carried on, he would have died. It was a part of the judgment. Leave the world behind. It's about the end of this world. That's what the movie is about, brothers and sisters. About the pending disaster, destruction that's coming. In the movie's case, America. And it tied it into Israel. A lot of little coded stuff. 1619, time the first slaves, according to them, came to this to the coastline. The first slave ship that came. The point of arrival of that slave ship. The buck looking for the buck that's always looking for somebody to, F-U-C that. The buck. That's the name that they called, men, the enslaved men. They called us bucked, our people, bucks. That's why when they were raping the men, they called it what? Buck breaking. But I digress to the degree that I shall, or am, or will. But I know one thing. Those of us who want to know, we're going to do whatever it takes to find out. Not running all over the way, all over the world, or all around in circles like a tiger trying to, catch his own tail. No. We're going to be disciplined. We're going to have a fortitude. We're going to be strong in our resolve. We're not going to, shun accountability just because we're uncomfortable. And again, I know what I'm talking about because this is the life that I have lived to this point. I am where I am because of resolve. I am where I am because I am disciplined. I am where I am because I got up my ass and I would go and be where I was supposed to be and do what I was supposed to be doing and didn't leave till the job got done. Hell, you think I got into corporate America and was successful there? Because when things got tough, I just said, well, it's time for me to get another job, or things get tough when I'm going. Hell no. There's not a person that I know that is successful, I don't care what their ethnic background is, that did not understand the importance of the grind. They were where they're supposed to be. They were always where they were supposed to be, and they understood for them to succeed, they had to perform. They had to be the best that they could possibly be. And if that wasn't good enough, they figured out how to get and make it good enough. The book tells us in Proverbs that the wicked fled excuse makers, but the righteous, non-excuse makers, are bold as lions. The wicked, again, run. They create their own ghost because they refuse to look in the mirror at themselves. And that is Israel to the T. A people who will rather fight and backstab one another than put their knives down and bust their ass to get the job done. But how can you get the job done when you rather let anything come into your space to distract you, when the most important thing that any of us should be thinking about right here, right now, brothers and sisters, is the judgment to come? I mean, it's already here. You're talking about the clock ticking to midnight or whatever analogy that these heathens want to use to tell you that time is almost up. The question you should always ask yourself, and I'll say it to you again, if you want the right answer, you better ask the right question. And the right question is not the one you concoct. The right question is what is truth and what is lie, and making sure that I know the difference. I meaning you know the difference. You know, I'll give you a question. Why are these heathens going underground? Why? Why do they want to live underground? Why are all the world leaders talking about, aliens? Just recently, the Congress, or some of the Congress people in the United States here, some of you saw the video, did a little, what they call a conference outside of the doghouse. They know it as the White House. And what they say, yeah, there are grays and there are translucent aliens, and there are many reports that they're here, been here. And, we can't give you much more information than that. When you get the movie coming out, The Disclosure, Steven Spielberg, that's probably all over the world. Sure, you can find it in some theater near you if you care to be entertained. But disclosure. The disclosure is that they know something is coming. The question is you should be asking is why they're underground. Well, I guess I just answered it for you. They're underground because they know something is coming. Why? You got time to be playing games. You got time to be, going back and forth. You got time to be petty and bitter and envy and jealous, in particular with your own people, including me, your leader. At least one, one of them. I'll give some grace out there. Otherwise, why in the hell aren't you taking this serious? Because it is serious. And this is what Yahuah is saying here. And this is what we were talking about there. This plague that's coming, brothers and sisters, which I don't know which one is going to be. It's probably going to be a compilation of several different plagues that's going to cause your eyes to melt, sister. Your tongue. Do you know what kind of suffering that is? Hell, if you would just put the plagues of Egypt on us, I think that would be enough to get every single one of us, get your attention. But even in that, it wouldn't be enough for all of us to get our attention, because as we did there, when Moses said, okay, it's time to go, they start talking about all kind of other stuff. Well, no, I was more comfortable when I was in Milwaukee, for example. In other words, the dog talking about returning to the vomit, brothers and sisters. That's Joshua. We want to go back to Egypt. It was better there. Or we want to stay in Egypt. We're comfortable here. But who said, no, my people going that way? And we found out it wasn't a whole lot of them. As a matter of fact, there were over 20. It was none of them except for 2, Joshua and Caleb. History always repeats itself. That's why Solomon said there's nothing new under the sun. So again, play games with the Creator all you want. Tempt him, test him. And for your daughter Zion, I will say it to you again, he's not your man. I know you'd love to have him because you think that he would just cater to your every little whim. He'd make your life so comfortable and so great and so grand. Sister, you have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Yahuah is a flaming fire. Hell, Yahuah is a killer. Your little keep like the sweat loving ass, you ain't ready for the kind of love that Yahuah brings. Because Yahuah's love is a purification. And a part of that purification is death. He said a soul that sins gonna die. And a rebellious soul is definitely at the top of that damn list. A selfish soul. And brothers, it applies to you too. A man who lacks discipline, a man who does not hold himself accountable for his own life and his own, responsibilities. Yeah, we're here as a collaborator to help each other. There should be a collaboration, but that collaboration should be at, how you say, in moderation. See, the men out here, we don't just give in. We don't give up. We figure it out. It's called fortitude. It's called resilience. It's called discipline. You can't want to win, sister. You can't want to win, brother, and turn your back on Yahuah and his teaching and his word. See, we learned this from these heathen religions, churches, grandma, grandpa, and all the rest of the heathens that we grew up around. That's why David said, I was born in sin and shaped in iniquity. He wasn't talking about his mother being a nasty woman. He was talking about the environment of a lack of discipline, an environment that had no accountability, no personal accountability there. And he still had some of that in him as a grown-ass man. Yeah, he was a learner of Yahuah, but he still did not deal with himself. He didn't deal with his S-H-I-T. Like many of you still won't deal with yours. It's easier just to project it on somebody else. Well, it's not going to work. You can sling it, but it ain't going to stick. It's going to splash right back on you. Talking about your S-H-I-T. So no, Yahuah is not your lover. Yahuah is not your friend. And Yahuah did not ask for any of you to seek him. He says, seek my Torah and seek my prophet and be disciplined and follow what I tell you. And then and only then will I accept you. Otherwise, he said, you're not mine. He said, I don't want to hear your excuses. So your excuse is nothing but, a self-indulgence. I'll say it again. He said, your excuses is nothing but self-indulgence. And this is why he's scolding Jeremiah. And again, this is what's going to happen again that Jeremiah 14 talks about. The plague of Egypt. And just like in that time, Egypt's arms stretched all over the earth. Just like America's arms stretched all over the earth. What happened in Egypt was happening everywhere, brothers and sisters. Don't get it twisted. Except for one place, Goshen. Where Yahuwah's, elect was sitting. Those who did not compromise. Levi, the sons of Joseph, Ephraim and Manasseh. You see, when Egypt was offering all the goodies, a little welfare here, a little stamps here, a little snap over here. Saying with these, Negroes, Hebrews, are beggars. So just offer them things. They'll come chasing it. But see, Levi and the sons of Joseph, they knew better. Said, I'm not making no covenant with no goddamn heathens. I'm not taking the bait. In other words, I'm not going to get distracted by these shiny things, these silvery things. They're, their bounty. See, no. They said, no, we're going to stay right over here, and y'all going to stay right over there. That's what discipline looks like. We don't get distracted. We are a focused, a driven people. I'm talking about the very small remnant, not like the billions and billions of the rest of you all. Who Yahuah says, again, your eyes gonna melt in your socket, your tongue in your mouth, and your flesh off your flesh off your bones. Horrible, miserable, putrid death. And again, I tie it back in. If you think nothing is going on, you think I'm conflating, I'm exaggerating, somehow or another, oh, he must be mad. You don't know me like that. You don't understand Yahuah either like that. You think Yahuah sitting around here just mad because y'all don't want to listen. No, he did say that, he would be breathing steam out of his nose, and spitting fire out of his mouth. He did say that, brothers and sisters, but that has nothing to do with his, how you say, compassion. Hell no. He's saying, you little wicked devils. See, I created you. I formed you, Yasharel. And what do you want to do, Yasharel? You want to cater to everything, or you want everything to cater to you? You want to cater to everything that's not me, but yeah, you want me to cater to you. That's what Yahuah is saying to Yasharel. And again, as we studied this Wednesday night, if that wasn't serious enough, which most of you, didn't think it was important enough to come in here and learn, I'm starting to get it now. But for those of you who were here, praise Yahuah, he said there would be a small remnant. So I'm not tipping my hat to you. I'm just saying, I'm not the only one that has the damn sense I was born with. When I know trouble is coming, I prepare for the damn trouble. I don't get distracted. I focus. And I stay the damn course until the job gets done. All you who will say, pack up and go over here, go around that way. I don't run. I just, he says, go around. Surround your enemy. Draw them in. And then attack them from the rear. Remember what happened to T.I the second time? Joshua and Yahshua went to fight him? Like that. But if that's not enough, he said that the daughters of Zion would be ravished. That's also in Zechariah chapter 14, verse 2. I don't know if you know what the definition of ravished is, sisters. Israel. Heathen females, you too. What happened to Egypt happened to wicked or rebellious Yasharel, and whatever happened and the consequences that rebellious Yasharel, in Yahuah's judgment of Egypt, we can call it the world today. The heathen got it too. See, the heathen didn't get out of it. The Egyptian didn't get out of it. And I'm sure in Egypt at that time, there were people from all over the earth. There was every nation there, brothers and sisters. It wasn't just Egyptians. No more than it was just Yasharel. It was the Mecca of the earth, the center of the earth. Again, sort of like America is today. North America, United States of America, to be clear, not the continent. The country. And as Yahuah judged this country, he's going to judge the world. And as he said, only going to be a very small few. What few? The disciplined few. The few that don't make excuses. The few that understand this is not a game. The few that have enough sense to know that your soul is not a roulette table. Well, I'm going to just take my chances. No, you're going to lose everything. The only hope that anyone on this flat earth has to keep from burning is to be disciplined, obedient, repentant, contrite, with evidence to back it up, not just words. What the book say? They love to talk about it. Did not Ezekiel warn us of that? So they love to run their mouths. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I love you, yeah, yeah, yeah. I love you, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, like the goddamn wicked-ass Beatles. You said I'm going to put some insecticide on them Beatles. They ain't going to be, yeah, yeah. They ain't going to be, creak, creak. They're going to be, ooh, shit. It's hot in here. So he said you're gonna get ravished. I'll put the definition in the comment section just so because I think for me to say it, you'll just think I'm just being brutal or being maybe brutish. Remember Satan? How the devils will always call the righteous brutish. Brutish. Oh, he's brutish. He's too hard. He's too difficult. She's uncompromising. Yeah, brutish. Has nothing to do with that. No, you just don't like what you're hearing. You don't want to deal with the accountability. So therefore, it's easy to project out as somebody else. Because you refuse to go look in the mirror. You think that, again, a bunch of words is the answer. I'm going to change on the outside, but I'm going to still be a bitter monster on the inside. Suck all the oxygen out of the room. That are bringing light and energy to the room. These are succubus, incubus spirits on our brothers and sisters. I call them brothers and sisters because they're children of Yahuah, but I don't own them. I don't see them as the righteous remnant because they are not. You can't serve Yahuah and serve yourself. I'll say it again. This is why that captivity exists amongst our people. I'm talking about the hostility, the lack of bread, the lack of resources, the lack of good health, the lack of clarity. What the book says, because the people, hate knowledge. They're being destroyed. For lack of vision, he said they perish. What vision? Means clear understanding. How do you get understanding when everything that that's not a part of your redemption is a part of your passion? I'll say this again. How can you grow and be strong when everything that's a part of redemption, or everything that isn't, say it right, that's a part of redemption, is where your passion lies? I'm talking about the true you. What you really want. Because if it was truly the redeeming of your soul, there's not a distraction on this earth with substitute for not only hearing the word of Yahuah, but doing it. And do you think for 1 second Yahuah's going to forget that for 4 years running, every single Wednesday night, I was here teaching, and you were not there? You think he's going to forget that? As I said earlier, if you want the right answer, you better learn how to ask the right question. Me and one of the dear sisters was talking just the other day. We were talking about the fog of war. It's a documentary by one of the United States Secretary of States in the early mid 1960s. His name was Robert McNamara, and he later became the president of the World Bank. Some of y'all know about the World Bank. Most of you probably have no clue what I'm talking about. But again, if you were here, you would know. Teach, inform, and educate. That's what we do. But anyway. In the documentary, he was just talking about how that whatever the heathens don't want you to see, they're always going to give you a distraction. They're always going to play into your ignorance, give you an illusion. And she and we were talking, and I was explaining to her, some of the examples of the documentary that he came up with. And one of the things he said, it's not about the question you ask, it's about the answer you want to give. Again, I'll say it to you again. He said, not about the question that you want, that they ask, it's the answer that you want to give. What he was saying, that's what your governments do. They create an illusion, a delusion, to make you feel that you're being included, but you're not. How many of you got to knock on your door and say, look, we're building underground bunkers. We're building underground cities. We're building tunnels all over this flat earth so that we can survive. You coming? How many of y'all got that letter? How many of y'all got that knock on your door, got that note? But all of you got, it's the World Cup. It's in the United States. Oh, the Knicks won the NBA championship. You know all about that. You know about Carmelo Anthony, clever, using a former athlete's name and place on this kid so that when you hear Carmelo Anthony, you think Knicks, New York, Carmelo Anthony. So if you want to keep the attention on the 17-year-old or 18-year-old, that was involved, in this killing of this heathen, or if you want to keep people's attention there, you got to do what, brothers and sisters? You got to give a name that people are familiar with, and you got to make sure you elevate the city that name is attached to. Carmelo Anthony pretty much spent a large majority of his career with the Knicks. New York. He's from New York. Puerto Rican. Melanated, Israelite, but Puerto Rican. See how clever they are? Cunning is what it's called. They're very cunning. But what's the spark, elder? Well, the spark is get the race violence going on. That's why I told you sell out Israelites who love these goddamn heathens. You done married up with these goddamn white heathens. You live among these white heathens. These white heathens give you your bread. Well, these same white heathens going to turn on you, and I've told you that a long time ago. There's another movie called Rosewood. Some of you maybe need to take a peek out. Not about, in these movies, these are documentary movies. These are real movies. I don't get caught up in child fantasy. I'm a man. I ain't got no time to play childish games. But inside of this movie, there's this white store owner who lives in the black community. Well, Rosewood, if you want to call it a black community. And he's giving loans to the drunk black Israelite man who drank. He said, well, keep on drinking and keep getting the credit. I'm going to own your house one day. Then he gave his son some. Then he said, gave his son some candy and said, go take care of your father. That's how they play us. That's how they see us as a bunch of drunken beggars. That's what most of us rather do, be drunk and beg. Not be sober and continue on getting, our act together. But inside of this movie, there's a racial climate. A little lying white woman goes and claims some man did something to her, which another white man did it to her, but she lied and said, a black man did it. That's the way she said it. We're Israel, we're not black, but just for context. Most of the people knew she was lying, but they didn't care. It just gave them an opportunity to take out their hostilities, their jealousy, their envy, their bitterness. And you can say, yeah, I know they envy, and they're envious of us, and they're bitter, and they're jealous of us, elder, and, because we so special. Bullshit. It's not about that, foolish. That's you thinking foolishly again. This shit happened for real. People died. Had nothing to do with, your ego. But the people who were in business with this shopkeeper, this man made his money off the people who lived in Rosewood, the blacks. That's who did business in his store. But see, when shit hit the fan, he quickly forgot about those people. And guess what? He lined right on up with his kind. Watch the movie. Kelly was raping one of the daughters of Zion. Many of our daughters love to cock open their legs for white access. They brag about it. What they call them, zaddies. I'm going to get a zaddy. Yeah. Uh-huh. He was raping one of your grandmothers, so So you proud of yourself. Ravished. And so when the race riot started, it wasn't a riot, when the race massacre started, she thought she could go to him. After all, he was raping her. She worked for him. They were, they had a relationship, covenant. He hurried up and slammed the door in her face. They found her on the side of the road, DEAD. He could have saved her, but he's like, hell no, I ain't putting my life on the line for her. But he ain't have no problem sticking this little dirty, non-melanated pecker between her melanated legs. The wages of sin is death. So that sin is going to die. She slept with a heathen and she got heathen consequences. But she wasn't the only one, the men too. They were in business with you till they wasn't, brother. And when they're not, you're going to feel the pain. But they have nothing to gain. The moment they don't need you, they're going to throw you away like yesterday's trash. I've said it. And this Yahuah's warning. It's all it is. But I know, again, most will not heed it. Because, again, you're more interested in what they have to offer. Give her, what did the Caesar say? Give them bread and give them entertainment. And hell, they're not going to pay attention to nothing else. Surely not the word of Yahuah. You can count on that part. They're not going to do it. Or they'll tell you why. They'll like Jeremiah said, I'm just a child, I'm just learning, I'm just trying to grow, I'm just trying to understand. He said, nah, cut it out. Cut it out. I've been here before you were born. You're not going to get away giving me your excuses. Now, granted, in Jeremiah's case, we understood that was about a prophet, a messenger. But Yahuah was telling him, I'm not hearing your excuses. If he tells a prophet, I don't want to hear your excuses, what do you think he's going to do to the regular woman, the regular guy? These Christian, non-Christians among us. They ain't a Christian no more. They believe in Yahuah. They love Yahuah. Yeah, when the word of Yahuah is being taught, they laying down to sleep and rising up to play. Again, when the word of Yahuah is getting taught, they're laying down to sleep and drink and then rising up to play. When Moses was coming down with the word, right, what were they? Having fun, wanting to have fun. Thing was all about fun until it wasn't funny. But it was too late. Moses threw the tablet down. He threw the word of Yahuah down. He said, no, this ain't for y'all. So y'all want to be heathens. You can't get the past out your presence. So therefore, guess what? I'm going to take this calf, your idol, the thing that you love, and I'm going to burn it up, and I'm going to shove it down your throat. That's the word, brothers and sisters. That's in the Torah. Exodus chapter 32. Read it for yourself. But then again, some of you say, well, no, I was with Elder. I know that's what it says. And some of you say, yeah, I was with Elder, but I'm not taking the time to learn anything. I'm just showing up to show out, to say I showed up. But there's nothing penetrating this brick head of mine. So yeah, disease is going to come, ravishing going to come, racial hatred, racial strife. This is what the whole thing with Kamala Anthony is about. This is why, what you believe it or not, brothers and sisters, some of our people are so naive. What I mean by that, ignorant, mockers, scorners, just mockers. What did Solomon tell us about mockery, brothers and sisters? How many of you all know what the word mockery is, by the way? Mockery, to mock. You might want to look it up. Because he said Israel loved to mock. He said we're professional mockers. And because Israel loves to mock, he said, Yahuah said, when your day come, when you think when it's time for you to get serious, he said, you know what? I'm going to laugh at you. Hold your hand right here. Let's go over to the book of Proverbs. Let's look at that. I think it's a calling to do it, so I'm going to do it. So while you were playing and mocking, or you're mocking now, still playing this past Wednesday, some of us were right there at the door of that ark saying, okay, Noah, what's next? Walk me through what's next, Noah. But look what Solomon says in Proverbs. I'll start reading to you verse 22. He says this: how long will you simple ones love simplicity? This is you selfish ones. Think everything is about you. Then he goes on to say, and you scorneth delight in scorning, and you fools. You fools is what he said here. Hate knowledge. And I can assure you, he was not talking about these many books you're reading. He was talking about the Torah. Oh, if you need a reference point, hold your hand there at verse 22 and then walk over here to verse 7. Just a couple of little verses up. Look what it says. The fear of Yahuah is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and, guess what, instruction. Nobody can tell you what to do. You're the boss B, the head nigga in charge. You're the boss B-I-T-C-H, female, and you're the head nigga in charge, male. This is who he's talking to. And a nigga is a sluggard. He's lazy. He's detestable. He looks for others to do what he's supposed to be doing. He thinks the government is his daddy. He thinks the court system is where he gets justice. No, brother, it's just us. Not just this, it's just us. Who's victimized by this court that you respect. But he goes on to say this, verse 8, my son, hear the instruction of your father and forsake not the Torah. That's Proverbs 1, 7 and 8. And now I'm going to go back over to Proverbs 1 and 22. He says again, how long will you simple ones? Will you love simplicity? You want to be entertained. You think the wilderness is supposed to be a place of comfort. No, the wilderness is a place of transformation. It's where we will put there to change. To learn ourselves, to learn Yahuah. To get back to the ancient way is why we're in the wilderness, is why we're in transformation. This is not the place where you stop and put your feet up in the air and smoke a damn cigar. If you make it to the land of milk and honey, if you make it out of this hellfire that's coming, then Yahuah might say, like, okay, we can celebrate now. There'll be time for that if you make it out, if you make it through, but most won't. Not because Yahuah's word is the truth, it's because your heart is corrupted. Here, your mind. This is what Jeremiah 17 and 9, 10 is talking about. The heart is deceitful above all things. Who will understand your own heart? He says, surely not you. That's why I give you a Torah. That's why I give you instruction. That's why I give you leadership. That's why I give you a prophet. So you can deal with yourself. But you won't. Because you want candy from the pedophiles. And the righteous are not pedophiles. So we don't have no damn candy to give you. But we have truth. But of course, that comes with a price. Price many of you will refuse to pay, male and female. It comes with a true contrition or conversion. Period. Inside out, not outside, appearing to be right. It's not for the succubus and the incubus. See, the truth is for those who want it. The truth is for those who desire. The truth is for those who have discipline. The truth is for those who will hold themselves accountable and not go around blaming anybody else. Ever, never. They don't have that cowardly DNA in them. Because that's what cowards do, is what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. Again, cowards looking for excuses. Just give me a reason to run. Give me a reason to turn back. That's what they were saying in the wilderness. It was better when we were in Egypt. We had leeks and we had, how about you? What brought you here? Devils. That's how devils talk. They want to put their little seed out there. The bait on the hook, see if you stupid enough to bite it. But a righteous man and a righteous woman resign and say, no, you need to go look in the mirror. You need to deal with yourself. I ain't buying that shit. Came too far to turn back now, honey. You go back. But then again, Yahuah may have a real harsh, shocking surprise for you. On your way back to Egypt, might put them fiery serpents on your ass. Might open that pit of hell and suck you down, throw fire on your head. Might put one of them plagues on you. Where 14,000 of them were killed and another, many, many thousands. The whole thing in Numbers chapter 25. Where Israel was you were more caught up in whoring than serving Yahuah. That's what happened with the Moabites and the men of Yashrael. The whores were at the door, say, come on in here. I got some blackberry pie for you. Some blackberry cobbler. I'd rather throw up in my own mouth than to eat any more of that pie. I'm talking about the heathen pie. It's not funny, but it is comical. Sister, you keep your blackberry pie. You're going to need it. When the Ravagers come, trust me. They'll eat all the pie you got. If you ain't figure out what I'm talking about, then I guess you are the fool in the room then. Verse 22, it says, and the scorners delight in scorning. Back to Proverbs 22. And fools, it says, and the scorners like to scorn. And the fool hate knowledge. And Yahuah says, turn you at my correction. Not your correction. He says, I want you to turn at my correction, Yashrael. I'm not giving you, an option. Well, I can have mine, you can have yours, and why can't we all just get along? Yahuah said, I'm not Rodney King, and this ain't the Los Angeles riots. He says, it's my way or nothing. My way or the fire for you. Eternal fire. Let's be exact. Let's be concise right here. But that's still not enough for most of you. You don't care about blowing Yahuah's word off because you think you have an option. No, you don't. You're just being judged. Everything is getting written down, Judah. You don't remember? Jeremiah 17:1, iron pen, diamond tip. You don't remember that part? You don't remember Enoch chapter 105 where he says, or 104 where he said the angels are writing down the things of us righteous, but he said for the sinners and the wicked, they're also recording that. This is why Daniel chapter 12 verse 2 exists. You can call it the white throne judgment, you can call it whatever, the resurrection, you call it whatever you want to call, but many of you are going to call it the moment that you got told you were going to hell and you were shocked. Or that fire, since you don't believe in hell. You believe fire burns? Well, then you go into the place that where fire burns, flesh. Because you wouldn't turn at the reproof. Means you would not accept the correction. You rebelled. Oh, somebody trying to tell me what to do. Well, yeah. You listen to the devil, why you can't listen to the righteous? Again, you listen to the devils. You listen to devils. You've been listening to devils. You grew up among devils. David said it earlier, as I said. Born in sin, shaped in it. You will listen to them devils, but now somehow another when the righteous come, you want to be a devil. I thought you didn't want to be a devil. Thought you were done with devil men. Obviously, you aren't. Yahuah said, my eyes go throughout the whole earth, Asa. And I see everything, Asa. And you ain't getting away with it, Asa. 2 Chronicles 16, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to cause your body to rot, Asa. And you're going to be in the grave with your fathers, your wicked ones, just like you, Asa. I thought Asa, A-S-A, A-S-F. Got a bunch of Asas running around here with us, brothers and sisters, all over this earth. Be careful. Don't let them whisper in your ear. This book says Yahuah's Torah is a shield against Asa, of the Asa lovers, the Asa mentalities. I'm going to line myself up with things that cater to me. And then I cater to them. You line yourself up with devils, and you going to cater with devils. As an old saying, you lay down with fleas. With dogs, don't be surprised you wake up with fleas. That's to you dog lovers. I'm not talking about those who think the thing is a pet. I'm talking about those who think it's companionship. I don't have a man, but I got a dog. I don't have a woman, but I got a dog. It's an unclean animal. And the book says, I can two walk together except they be in agreement. So I guess when Isaiah said that these prophets of the heathen mentality, what do you say, they're dumb, greedy dogs? Better yet, he said those who turn back, what did he say, dogs to the vomit? Is that what Proverbs 26 and 11 said? The other was Isaiah 50, what was that? 56, 10, 11, Isaiah. Mark it down, hammer, saw, y'all know the drill. Two is better than one. But he goes on to say, verse 20, turn you at my reproof, and I will pour out my spirit on you, and I will make known my words unto you. He said, but that's only if you allow yourself to get instruction, and as long as you're allowing yourself to be, what? Corrected. Only then, and then only will you get his protection. Only then is his word a shield to you. Only then. Proverbs 30 and 5, same Solomon. Warning. He says this, I will make known my words to you, because I have called and you have refused. Again, Wednesday night, where were you? He says that I have stretched out my hand and you didn't want it. You didn't take it. You didn't like what I was offering. I have other things more important than that. After all, I don't need to hear him. Who's made him prophet? I don't know. Yahuah did. Like he just told Jeremiah, I made you prophet. I said, don't call yourself a child. I said, you go and do it. They ain't going to listen, but you go tell them anyway. What Ezekiel says. 33. We say, well, they ain't going to, they love it, all that stuff. He said, but at the end of the day, they ain't going to do it. They're going to do what they want to do, like the rebellious always have done. They come to the event empty-handed. You know, in the heathen world, there's what we call BYOB, bring your own bottle, whenever they're having their little, get-togethers. You see, this is wicked Israel. When you were going out there and they were in these streets or in these clubs or were going to these family gatherings, whatever, they didn't have no problem grabbing something to bring. But when it comes to Yahuah's work, they ain't got nothing. They come empty-handed and call themselves just. Message. He goes on to say, but you have set at naught all my counsel. In other words, you didn't want to hear, and you would none of my reproof. You wouldn't take it. I don't agree with the reproof, so therefore it's not acceptable. It's what you say to Yahuah's prophet. I don't remember Yahuah saying you got the option to say yes or no to correction. Well, you do have an option, but it ain't going to change the outcome. I guess that's a better way to say it. So you can deny that you're going to get destroyed and burned in that fire, but you're going to get destroyed and burned in that fire. Especially you heathen lovers and those of you who still got the heathen loving mentality. A difference without a distinction, as they say. Two peas in a pod. In agreement with each other. I'm not a heathen, but you sure trust the heathen system. I'm not a heathen, but you sure want to live like one. I'm not a heathen. Well, then where's the change? Where's the proof? So it's a reprover. The word of Yahuah is a reprover. It's a purifier. It's a refiner, like silver and gold is refined. Isn't that what Zechariah told us in chapter 18, verse 8? He said 2/3 are going to get burned in that refining process. Means most of you, of course. Just so you don't get this confused. I don't want to lose you in the curve, as they say. But he said 1/3 are going to be refined like silver and gold. What does that mean? We're going to sustain it. We ain't going to stand. We're not going to run. We're going to go through this wilderness and we're going to get to that land. You ain't coming, but we going. And every promise that Yahuah made, he said it's going to be a land of milk and honey and blessings and restoration, refreshing. And we're going to live to see it. And then when he renews the whole earth, we're going to possess it and have dominion over it. We'll check on you, though, every year. Isaiah said, we'll come and check on you. You know, Mr. and Mrs. can't be told nothing. Mr. and Mrs. who you too busy to get instruction. You too busy to learn. You too busy to come and hear the word of Yahuah. It's okay. We'll come and check on you every year. You do know that, right? Every year we're going to come and check on you, brother. Every year we're going to come check on you, sister, brothers, sisters. Every year we're going to come check on you. See how you doing. I'm gonna hold your hand here. Just so you know what we going when we come check on you. This is what we're gonna see. Just so you know, He says, this is Isaiah chapter 66, verse 24. And he says, and they shall go forward and look upon the carcasses of the men that have transgressed against me, meaning Yahuah. Did what they wanted to do. Didn't listen to the prophet, didn't listen to instruction, too busy. Didn't care. Oh, I'm bored of that. I'm tired of that. I'm looking for something different. I'm looking for something new. I'm looking for something that's going to cater to me, that's going to cater to you, right? He said, for your soul will never die, and that fire shall never be quenched, and you shall be a warning or abhorring unto all flesh. Look up the word abhorring. Abhor, spelled ABHORRING, unto all flesh. We're going to come and check on you. And we're going to be like, holy shit. Probably going to be holding our nose. Not want to smell that burning flesh. Covering our eyes. Not wanting to see the torment. So we'll be checking on you. Just keep on doing what you're doing. You'll find out. Every word of Yahuah is a pure word. It is true. It is a shield unto those who obey it. Including what I just read. So yeah, that 1/3 that refined among us, the 1 out of 10 of us, not the billions of you. We'll live to see that every single word of Yahuah is a true word. Yahuah is not a man that he should lie, the son of man that he should repent. Number 23:19. If he said he's going to do it, it will be done. And he don't need your approval, sister. He said, my thoughts are not your thoughts, so what you thinking about? He said, my ways are not your ways, so, why you think your behavior is greater than Yahuah's expectation for those who keep this Torah? Who make think you can do it the way you want to do it? Where'd you get that from? Brother, where did you get that from? You say you are a changed man. Seriously? Let's dial back a couple of years and look what you were doing then, and let's look forward now and see what you're doing now. Help us understand the difference. Let's think about when you were in Egypt, and now you're in the wilderness. Where's the difference? Where's the fight? Where's the resiliency? Where's the commitment? Where's the owning the outcome? Owning the outcome. I mean, hold yourself accountable. The discipline. The man. Because that's what a man is. He's disciplined. He's accountable. When there's no way, he finds a way. And he never turns back. Not an option. He abhors the word turn back. He abhors the word quit. But Israel doesn't know that because Israel has been taught by heathens that it's somebody else's responsibility to save your soul, to make your life better. No, it's your responsibility. Solely your responsibility, I might add. Yeah, Yahuah gave us his Torah. He gave us his prophets to show us the way. But at the end of the day, nobody dying for your soul, honey. Dude, Mr. Macho Man, but you. And some of you are treating, this word of Yahuah like it's kryptonite. Oh no, it's in my way. You don't take all that. It hurt my eye. Like Superman and kryptonite. When they want to take a great man and make him a no man, they put kryptonite in front of him. That's why you'll never be the man you claim to be. You'll never be the woman you want to be. Because you see the Torah as kryptonite. Instead of a rod of correction. Because that's actually what it is. It's a rod of correction. It's not, the book says, who Yahuah love, he corrects. How is he going to correct us, brothers and sisters? Via his Torah. But when you rebel, everything in this Torah will also be applied to you in correcting you. Again, I talked about it in Numbers 25. You can read it in Numbers chapter 16. All right, yeah. You can read about it in Exodus chapter 32. Yahuah didn't play with our people. You can read about it in Joshua chapter 80. Yahuah did not play. Hell, if Moses did something so, remedial as, hitting a rock when he should have spoke to the rock, and that caused him not to go in, that was seen as rebellion. How the hell you think what you're doing is not rebellion? If Yahuah says to do what he says, you're going to take Yahuah's glory, but you still say he's, he's shining on you. You're going to steal his glory, but you still going to say, no, but he, he loves me. No, he doesn't. You're despised of Yahuah when you go against his Torah, when you go against his instruction, when you go against his correction. You better read this book with your eyes open. Jeremiah warned you not to close your eyes. Jeremiah 5:21 said, foolish people, don't have eyes to see or ears to hear. They don't want correction. They don't want instruction. And they damn sure not wanting to be, don't want the real knowledge. They want the heathen knowledge. In other words, they want to continue the way they are, but to get the benefits as though they aren't the same way they've been. Doesn't work like that. It's just like, again, he told Jeremiah, I'm not interested in your excuses. It doesn't matter, is what he's saying, brothers. He says, your excuses does not matter to him. He said, because you wouldn't accept the reproof, again, Proverbs chapter 1, verse 25, he said, I will also laugh at your time of trouble, because it's coming. I'm going to laugh at you. Since you were too busy for me, he said, when you call on me, I'm going to be too busy for you. You better remember that. Because he's going to bring it back to your remembrance. He said, when your fear comes as a desolation, that means to destroy you, because you're about to realize it's about to happen for real, and your destruction comes as a whirlwind, and when your stress comes and that anguish come upon you, because it's coming, then you shall call upon me, but I will not answer. So then you're going to want to pray. Then you're going to be, where's the study? Elder, what happened to Elder DFG? What's going on here, y'all? What's going on? He said, you would say, cut it out. You know good so damn well you didn't care about what he was teaching because your ass, half-ass committed to it. You see, the righteous, we ain't going to say that. We're going to say, nah, I've been there every single time. Come hell or high water, I'm going to be there. When I go to the fire, I'm going to be there. When the flood comes, I'm going to be there. Isn't that not what Isaiah 43:2 says? He said, no. If I want Yahuah with me, I got to be with Yahuah. He's where his word is being taught. He's where that word is being emphasized. He's where that word is being used as a purification. This is what David was talking about in Psalm 3. He would say, wash me, you know what I'm saying? And I shall be clean. The word is what David said. He said, the Torah of your mouth is worth what? Thousands of silver and gold. Is that not what he tells us in Psalms 119:71? But it's not a game. And like this book said, from the wicked comes wickedness. From the wicked come wicked seed, wicked children. People who lack discipline don't discipline their children. They allow them to be heathens, rampant, raging, to early death, I might add. Just we can say Kamala Anthony now, or Austin Metcalf, that heathen fool. He won't be bullying anybody else. But Israel, you will be exploited to create, the hostility, to create the white flag event. If y'all are familiar with a white flag, know what they're going to make something that is nowhere near as serious or than it should have been taken and make it, a worldwide national event. That way they can justify slaughtering our sons and daughters. You better not forget this. Rosewood again. Just telling you. Elaine, Arkansas. Tulsa, Oklahoma. New Orleans, Louisiana. Wilmington, North Carolina. Many, many other places. That's just naming a few. And yet they raped and ravaged and murdered and killed in mayhem. And Yahuah allowed them to do it. And no, the church didn't save them. Religion didn't save them, and Jesus damn sure didn't save them. Oh, and Freemasonry, if you watch the movie, they had a Freemason hall there. It didn't save them either. As a matter of fact, according to them, the Freemasonry thing is what caused the confusion around where this so-called, prisoner who was on the run. Remember? He showed him his Mason ring. The little young black idiot, young man who just nobody can tell him nothing. The old man tried to tell him, son, he may be a Mason and we may be Masons, but we ain't the same Masons. And with the little young, arrogant, pompous idiot, no, man, you got to be true to this. You got to be true to this. He ended up in prison, beat the shit out of him, and the man who tried to warn him ended up with a rope around his neck. Guess Freemasonry didn't help either one of them two. So you stay with your Mason network. Your word is true. It's a pure word. He goes on to say, so since you wouldn't hear it, I'm laughing at you, verse 26, when your fear comes, and I will mock you. They say, I will laugh at you in your calamity when your troubled time comes, brother, sister. He said, I'm going to laugh at you. I'm going to mock you just like you mocked me. You took me for granted, I'm going to take you for granted, is what it's saying here, Brother Mendez, to the people. Brother Booth, this is what he's saying. They think it's a game. They think who is playing. Most of you wicked Israelites are going to pay a heavy price for your folly that you don't want to admit. No, I love you, or no, I love you. Then where's the fruit? Where's the evidence that you do? Where's the grinding it to powder? Where is the resiliency? Where's the discipline? Where's the personal accountability where you should be holding yourself accountable? When this book said the wicked flee when no one pursued them, you know what it's saying? You're running on your own accord. That's what it means, brothers and sisters. Think about it. He said nobody's chasing them. That means they're the ones chasing themselves. They're the problem. Not you, not me, not him, not her. You. It's interesting, when you think about it. Again, I didn't get the fog of war part. The fog of war just simply said these heathens going to give you every kind of diversion that they can, so you never figure out what the hell they doing. So that's the answer to the fog of war. But I remember in 2 Samuel chapter 12, when Nathan came to David, the prophet Nathan, not Yahuah, the prophet Nathan. So all you think that somehow or another you're doing something for Yahuah. No, you're not. You're doing it for yourself. Yahuah just pointing you in the right direction, even though you're saying I'm going in the direction you want to go. That's about it. That's it for you. They ain't doing nothing else for you but that. And he's going to use the prophet to point you in that direction. If that's not good enough for you, then he will destroy your ass. And that will be set in stone, written in stone, as Jeremiah 17:1 says for you. In other words, it ain't going to get erased. You're going to face the consequences of your behavior. Because you didn't want to deal with it when you could. You will say now you're going to deal with it when you can't. But when the prophet Nathan came to David, he's telling David about giving him this parable, and finally he just realized David's like, he said, wait, time out. You the problem. Stop looking at, pointing your finger at everybody else. He said, David, you're the one. And you are saying to many of you, why are you pointing your finger at everybody else? Why are you pointing your finger, at the teacher? Why are you pointing your finger at the prophet? Why are you pointing your finger at the righteous remedy? He said, no, you the problem. You've always been the problem. But you won't deal with yourself, is what he's saying. Now, David wasn't always no damn problem, but in that instance, he was the problem. And he was looking at everybody else except for himself, like so many of you are doing. And I'm here to warn you. You better quit that foolishness before you will destroy you. Some of you will listen, but billions of you will totally disregard what I said. I get it. But for the righteous few, don't let these people have you twisting in the wind with their folly and their foolishness. Their fake suffrage. Their fake suffrage. Ain't nothing suffering about them devils other than they can't have their damn way. It's called pride and arrogance. But he said pride come before the destruction, right? And an arrogant mind before your fall, sister. So get ready. Your ass about to tumble right down into hell. Keep playing with Yahuah. You'll see. Keep playing with his prophet. You'll find out. Isaiah called down that damn fire. That fire came. Elijah called down that fire. That fire came down. And the high priest raised up the ephod, and that plague stopped. So don't tell me Yahuah don't listen to his righteous leadership. You're out of your mind. You better stop before it's too late. Ironically, stopped. I'm sure you heard the background get quiet. That was not intentional. That's Yahuah's talking. The righteous, you're going to listen, but the rebellious among you, you long ago stopped. But he goes on to say, but you will call, verse 28, he said, but you will call on me and I will not answer you. You will seek me early, but you shall not find me. I know Yahuah hears my prayers. No, he doesn't. What the hell are you talking about? It says right here, you could call on him and he won't hear you. What are you talking about? Again, what are you talking about? Where's the scripture backing up what you're saying? Where are the precepts? My goodness, to back up what you're talking about. Where is it? He said, no, I'm not going to hear your prayers. As a matter of fact, let's go over to Proverbs chapter 28, verse 9. I'll give you a precept real fast, quick as you can say, you're going to hell. But you won't, but you are. Proverbs 29 and 1 says, he that is often being reproved will harden their neck, and they shall suddenly be destroyed, and there is no remedy for you. Let me read it to you one more time. He that is often reproved hardens their neck. In other words, they don't accept responsibility anymore now. He says what? And they shall be suddenly destroyed, and there is no remedy for it. So he said, when you try to pray, say, I'm not going to hear your prayers. I'm done with you. I gave you an opportunity. I gave you a chance. Now open the door. Your dumb ass walked in, and you tumbled your stupid ass right back out. Like the dog returned to the vomit, a fool to his folly. He goes back over Proverbs chapter 1, now picking up at verse 29. He said, why? He said, why will I not answer you when you seek me early? He said, why will I not, you will not find me when you searching for me? He said, because you hated knowledge and you did not choose the fear of Yahuah. That's why. What is the fear of Yahuah? It's obedience to his Torah. Obedience to his righteous, his chosen leadership, not the one you agree with, the one he chose. As a matter of fact, he already anticipated that you're not going to agree with him. That's not the prerequisite of a prophet of Yahuah. The prophet of Yahuah is not here to make you feel better about yourself. He's here to tell you about yourself. So you can do what is necessary to fix your own self. But many of you won't. You think the prophet, is someone, to sit around and worry about what you worrying about. Prophet is not here to solve your problems. You solve your own goddamn problems. The prophet is here to tell you what does say Yahuah. And you better get that through your rebellious mind before it's too late. He said, but they hate knowledge. They did not choose the fear of Yahuah. And they would not accept any of his counsel. And they despised all of my reproof. Despised it. In other words, you got angry. You in your feelings now. You mad. I'm going on with my life. You going somewhere, but you ain't not. You going on all right. And yeah, you taking your life with you, but you better remember, your next stop could be suddenly hellfire. Well, you don't believe in hell, some of you, right? So your next stop could be burning flesh. Yours. And everybody that's ignorant enough to follow your ass. Many followed Nathan, Baram, and Dothan, 250. And then another 14,000 were in agreement with them. What happened to them? It's in the book. It's in the Torah. Again, read it. Numbers chapter 26. No, 16. I'm sorry. It's there. Read it for yourself. I'm going to take my word for it. You better take Yahuah's word for it, though. Again, my job is to tell you what he said. And of course, in your rebellion, you're not going to hear it because you don't want to be corrected. You don't want the reproof. You don't want to be redirected. You want to be pacified. You just want to be right. Although you're wrong. Solomon tried to warn you of it. He tried to warn all of us of it. He says, the way that seemed right to a woman, but the end of it is going to be to her own ravished. She's going to have ravished consequences. Same thing with a man. So you're going to have horrific consequences, dude. When your flesh is eating you alive. You don't have the strength to walk, to stand up, to defend your own children. You'll find out then Yahuah was not playing with you, man. We don't have the strength to knock a rat from crawling up on your face and eating your eye out of you. Then you'll know there was a prophet amongst you and you should have listened. Some of you bad dudes gonna be crying like a little baby. Big old bad Mr. You. Crying like a little child. Ugh. I know you don't believe it. He didn't say you had to believe it. He said you had to be told it. Goes on here, verse 31, he says what? And therefore you shall eat the fruit of your own way, and you will be filled with your own little wicked devices. He's talking about these witches and these warlocks. So your little clever shit you trying to play, you're going to get played. You playing yourself. Somebody's going to fall for your witchcraft. Not for long. Be sure your sin will find you out, as the scripture says. You know what Moses told him? He said, oh, you want to stay? You don't want to come? You want to go back? Okay, he said, I'm going to tell you something. Yahuah will destroy you. How about that? That's what he told Reuben, Gad, Manasseh. Remember when we were going into the promised land? They said, well, no, we good right here. Everything is working for us here, so y'all go. He said, no, you coming with us. He said, if you rebel against it, Yahuah will destroy everything that you love. So with Joshua chapter 1, you go down around verse 17, 18, that's who's talking to Joshua. It's the Reubenite. They're saying, yeah, we're going to follow you as we follow Moses. Just follow Yahuah. That's what they were saying. They wasn't talking about Joshua. They were just saying, we remember the commitment and we remember the warning that we got from Moses. Now Moses is dead and you're in charge, Joshua. So guess what? We're not going to go back on it because we know what Moses said. And we know if we were to go back, Yahuah is going to destroy us. So we're going to fight. We're going to stay until the job is finished. Now, how many of you got that in you? I'm talking about that kind of integrity. You made a commitment and you're going to stick to it. You, not somebody else, you. You don't hear your complaining, well, you didn't. No. You own your own commitment. Or lack of commitment. You own that too. You're going to be held accountable for both. He goes on to say this, verse 32, for the turning away of the simple shall get you killed. The turning back of a simple idiot is going to get you destroyed, idiot, is what he's saying. I thought it would be better than this. It's too hard. Really. He said, but the turning away of the simple will slay them, and the prosperity of the fool shall destroy them. Well, I don't need it, and I'm good, bro. I'm good. I don't need all that. Yeah, You will, though. He said that prosperity or whatever it is you holding on to, he said, that's your deception, man. Whatever's got you so cocky, so arrogant, so confident that you don't want to hear the word of Yahuah, he said, that's your kryptonite, fool. Say, oh yeah, your prosperity is going to destroy your comfortable life or whatever it is you looking for that does not line up with this Torah. Yahuah said that's going to be the death of you, man. And he's no respecter of person. He don't give a damn who you think you are. When Nathan told David, you the man, David didn't say, well, no, but I'm a king. I'm the king. No, can't be me. David said, I sinned against Yahuah. What's coming next? There's going to be a price to pay. Blood in, blood out. See, David was intelligent. He understood the wages of sin is death. So their sins is going to die. Selfishness will get somebody killed every single time. And David was being selfish. And again, 2 innocent people died. Uriah and David's son with Bathsheba. Think Yahuah is playing with you? David was anointed of Yahuah. David was appointed king by Yahuah. And he didn't spare David. So you think he's going to spare you in your rebellion? In your selfishness? Nah, not going to happen. Hear me loud and hear me clear. That's not going to happen. Better deal with yourself before Yahuah deals with you, in essence. He's going to deal with you through his prophets, through his messengers, through his righteous teachings. This is why when you read the book of Joel chapter 2 verse 22, he says the righteous teaching is what restoration is. Righteous teaching, not your righteousness, not your self-righteousness. Isaiah warned about your righteousness. He said your righteousness, Isaiah 64:6, is like a bloody tampon or a bloody, whatever you use down there when a woman is having her, monthly uncleanliness, menstrual cycle, whatever you want to call it. He ain't talking about what you think is right, sister. He ain't talking about what you think is right, brother. He said his righteous teachings. That is what's going to restore back to us everything that was taken from us. If you are part of that righteous teachings. What did Amos say? It's better to obey than all these little shenanigans you're doing. Then I don't want all of that activity from you. I want your obedience. I want your submission. I want your contrition. And I want to see the fruits that validate that you were sincere about it. And that means being resilient. That means being consistent. That means being disciplined. That means holding yourself accountable. That means not saying you love Yahuah with all your heart and all your mind and all your strength. It's showing that you do. It's not about your words. It's about your actions. So even the heathens tell you actions speak louder than words. Isn't that one of their sayings? But there's Israel. I ain't got to do nothing. I just got to believe. You don't know my heart. Yahuah knows my heart. He showed it. He said your heart going to destroy you. Your heart is wicked, devious. Cunning, plotting, bitter, hateful, jealous, envious, stony, cold-hearted. Seeking Yahuah for what you can get from him, instead of seeking Yahuah for what he can do for you, to change you, to redeem you, to save you from the destruction and the desolation that's coming upon this earth. That's what your mind is supposed to be on. Evening, morning, and noon. What did David say? That's Psalm 51 and 17. But David also said in Psalm chapter 1, he said, you should meditate upon on Yahuwah's Torah, what, day and night, and then you will see his blessings. When you started, that meditation start to become a behavior. Talking about that Torah becomes a way of life, the ancient way, the right path, the straight path. And then, and only then, can you look for Yahuwah's blessings. Anything else that come your way is just deception. It's the appearance of good, but it's a lying spirit that's upon you. Remember Yahuwah said when Saul went into rebellion, would not do what he was told to do. He did everything except for that little part he thought he didn't have to do. What is it? Yahuwah put an evil spirit on his ass. You can read about that in the book of 1 Samuel, right about 15, 16, 17. It's in there. So they put an evil spirit on. Better be careful. Yahuwah don't put no evil spirit on you. And what is an evil spirit? It's a jealous spirit. It's a hateful spirit. It's a murder spirit. It's a selfish spirit. It's an excuse-making spirit. Blaming others for your decision. Asking stupid questions. Not realizing Yahuwah heard your heart. Don't ask the question, just do it. That's what I always say. Why are you playing? Just do it. But I was saying, misery love company, brothers. So now y'all need to be careful. They got a lot of little miserable little he-devils and she-devils among you. They are so damn miserable, and trust me, they're looking for a justification, and they will come to you if they think you're weak and feeble-minded enough to listen to them. You know, they prey on the simple-minded. You let them know, I am not simple-minded. You take that shit back where you bringing it from, sister. That's the way you deal with them. Sister to sister, that too. Brother to brother, same thing. Brother to woman, woman. Well, depending on who you talking to, same thing applies. If it's your covering, you better shut it down. You ain't got a right to say that to the covering. But any other little naysayer, any little she-devil, he-devil whispering in your ear or talking loud in your face, you better learn how to tell them, devil, you better get on out of here with that foolishness. Rebuke them. That's what Abraham did and Satan left. That's what Isaac did and Satan left. Sarah didn't do it. She died. She wanted to entertain the folly. Well, let me look into it. We. Why are you saying we when it's her ass? No, it ain't no we, it's you. Again, when Nathan came to David and told David about, the parable about, the man and the sheep, you know what that was all about? And again, 2 Samuel 12. He said, no, we're not going through all that. You the problem, David. No, enough of that. Stop. Time out, David. Wait a minute. You looking everywhere else. It's you. And I was telling many of you the same thing. It's you. Nobody is your problem. You're your own worst enemy. You always have been. You know you always have been. But you thought you could come hide, under this Torah and keep on being the way you are. And you would say, no, your sin's going to find you out. You ain't getting in here. You're like the lioness that thought she was going to get on that ark. Her own children ran her ass back. Said, you ain't getting on this. Ain't for you, Mom. Sorry. Mom, you ain't qualified. You too wicked. You're trying to do you, Mama. That ain't what Yahuwah said. That's what you said. You got a lot of mamas out there going to burn in hell. But think she ain't. Yes, you are. And you childless ones, yeah, you're going to burn in hell too. You keep playing with Yahuwah. Everything in this book is for educational purposes. Everything, every word of Yahuwah is a pure word. What do you think that means? You might be playing, but Yahuwah isn't. You might have made up he told you to do something, but he didn't. You might say he didn't tell you to do it, but he did. But you better know this Torah before you make a decision. You better believe that. You better make sure you go through this book and validate it. You better know that you know that you know before you go make a fool of yourself. And what did Solomon say? A fool hates knowledge. Just read it. But see, the wise, they're going to embrace the righteous teachings. They're not going to get into no self-fight. They're not going to shadow box. They're not going to be going in their mind back and forth and back. I think I can, but I'm not sure I can. What the hell does that mean? Yahuah said, I put before you what, brothers and sisters? Blessing and cursing, life and death. You better make a choice. And if you know what's in your best interest, you better make the right choice. And the right choice is his Torah and his Tanakh and the way it is being administered to you through his prophet, through his righteous teachings. Otherwise, he said, I have nothing to do with you. And I mean, he says nothing. You can call on him. He just said, you can cry out to him. He said, I don't hear you. Again, Proverbs 29:1, we just read it. You said, I'm tired of warning you about your behavior. I'm not going to talk to you about it anymore. I'm done. I'm going to tell the prophet to leave you to your own demise. Or better yet, I'll make you run when no one is fleeing you. You're running from yourself. And I'm going to tell you something. You can't outrun yourself. So run. Run. Run, spot, run. Run. But when you stop, it's still going to be the same old you. Well, you can cut out the foolishness. Turn to Yahuah. Submit yourself to this Torah. Bring forth fruit of your commitment. And be reestablished. Be blessed of Yahuah. That's a choice too, by the way. Deal with yourself. Or Yahuah will deal with it. But you choose. And trust me, if he got to deal with your rebellion because you don't want to deal with your rebellion, you're going to regret the day you ever heard his name. He ain't your mama, he ain't your daddy, he ain't your best friend, he ain't your best friend girl, and he ain't your boy. He only loves them who loves him completely. What did he tell Jehoshaphat, king of Judah? What did he tell him? What did he tell the prophet? He said, you go tell Jehoshaphat, the only reason he ain't dead, because he was going to kill him. Then the only reason you ain't dead, Jehoshaphat, because I showed you mercy. You better not forget that. So what is your problem anyway? He said, why do you love them that hate me and do evil? Again, he said, why do you love them that hate me and do evil? Or why do you love, he said, well, let's go over here. We'll be back. I'm not done yet. Hallelujah. We're getting there. First Chronicles. I think it's Second Chronicles, but whichever one it is, he's going to be there in a minute. Hallelujah. And while I'm looking, if your mind is changing, since you didn't show up for the Tanakh study, maybe you'll thumb up this video. You can thumb it up. or you can walk away from it. Your choice. So I put before you what life and death, blessings and curses. So I'm sure your decision was based on what you want from Yahuah. The book of Second Chronicles, chapter 19. It says, and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, returned to his house in peace to Jerusalem. He thought it was all good. Well, I'm back home. Not so fast, underdog. Not so fast, foolish man. Not so fast, foolish, harden your heart woman. Hold on. There's more to the story. He goes on to say this. And Yahuah, the son of Shahana, the seer or prophet, went out to meet him and said to King Jehoshaphat, should you help the wicked and love them that hate Yahuah? See, brothers and sisters, many of you need to reconcile this in your life because you're guilty of this and you don't even know it. Jehoshaphat thought he was good. I almost died. Whew. I know Yahuwah's on my side. Nobody can tell me Yahuwah ain't with me. Huh? He spared your ass, but he wasn't with you. You got a little mercy. But keep on hardening your heart. That mercy gonna stop. Him that is often reproved, right? Harden his heart. Shall be destroyed suddenly, and there will be what? No stopping it. And this is what he said to me. I'll read it to you one more time. He said, should you help the wicked and love them that hate Yahuah? He said, therefore is this wrath upon you from Yahuah. He said, you think just because he didn't kill you this time that his wrath is not on you, sister? Just because he didn't let you die in them streets like he could have, brother, you think his wrath is not upon you? He said, no, I just showed you some mercy. But he said, I'm not going to continue to do it. He said, you better show me some love. And how does he describe your love? Repent, contrite, submission, obedience, resiliency, fortitude, dedication, discipline. A true, genuine love for him, for his Torah. For the righteous. Because that's the only ones he loves. And there's a whole bunch out there that's confusing grace with salvation, grace with blessings, grace with righteousness. No, it was his wrath that brought about his grace to remind you don't play with him like that he don't love you like that. But you keep on taking these chances. You keep going right up to the edge. Ultimately, you're going to fall over. There was a woman just recently, some of y'all may have heard about it. She called herself bungee jumping. She gets up, the guy picks up and throw her over the bridge so she can do the little bungee. And they forgot to tie the rope onto the fixture. Her ass went over that thing and kept on, just like Jezebel got thrown over that damn balcony by them damn, eunuchs. When Jehoshaphat said throw her over, she thought her pretty face, her little makeup, her little, what's going to do the trick. Nah, sister, they passed for that. We see beyond your looks. We're looking at your heart. Yahuah sees the heart of a woman, the heart of a man, not your appearance. Although your appearance can be beautiful. He has nothing wrong with a beautiful appearance. But a black heart dirties it up. They threw her ass over that doggone thing. She crashed like a crash dummy. She ain't going to be bungee jumping no more. And that's how many of you are playing with Yahuah. You're going to do it one time too many. And you're going to crash and burn. One time too many, you're going to blow off the studies. One time too many, you're going to ignore the warnings. One time too many. Going to be your last time. And just like Solomon said, in your day of trouble, you're going to seek Yahuah. Yahuah said, no, don't seek me now. I had warned you and I told you time and time again, but you would not listen. You just thought you were just too special to be corrected. Too special to follow directions. Too special to humble yourself. Too special to be corrected. And now you're going to find out the hard way. You were wrong. You should have listened. And that's a message to all of you out there. When you, how you say, playing these little, back and forth games with Yahuah. Well, I love you with all my heart, all my mind, and all my soul, but I'm going to still do what I want to do. But that's the lie you're telling yourself. Because see, a man or a woman that loves Yahuah with all their heart and all their mind, all their strength, they long ago stop doing what they want to do. They do what they're expected to do by what Yahuah says through his prophet. And that just burns some of you to your gut. It just makes you just want to throw up in your own mouth to have to be, to accept that truth. So you despise it. And therefore, Yahuah said, I'm going to reject you then. I'm going to laugh at you when you're in day of trouble. Come on, mock you when your desolation comes. This is what he's saying to Jehoshaphat, the prophet, saying, man, how long are you going to keep on playing this game? We're saying you play with fire, eventually you're going to get burned. That's what he's saying. Joseph, how long are you going to play this game? You're a king, yeah, you over Judah, you got all this stuff, you think you much. But how long are you going to play? Yeah, you got out of it. Yahuah spared your ass, but how long do you think he's going to keep sparing you? How long do you think you have, brother? How long do you think you have, sister, to keep doing what you're doing? Blowing Yahuah off for pleasure. Blowing Yahuah off because that's not your priority. So you make what you want to be priority, but you reject what Yahuah says priority, but yet you say you love Yahuah with all your heart, all your mind, all your strength. No, you're not. That's called a reprobated mind. That's a way that seemed right to you. That's the way they're going to get you destroyed, brother. Young man, you too. This word don't cater to you. You cater to the word. Sisters, young sisters, you too. This word don't cater to you. You cater to the word. And you try to use Yah's prophet, he will destroy you. You don't know that? You try to take up, he said, touch not my anointing, do my prophet no harm. You don't know that yet? Keep going. You'll find out. Keep doing what you're doing. You'll find out. You will find out. Saul found out. King Ahab found out. Jezebel found out. Haman found out. Nathan, Baram, and Dotan, they found out. Haram, the brother of Abraham, he found out. Job's children, they found out. And there are many others all over this earth finding out. And don't be surprised one day it's going to be you if you don't cut it out. Where's your fruit, Yasharel? Where's your evidence? That you're the righteous remnant. Where is it? Surely not because you're doing what you want to do. Surely it's not because you say so. I hope you're not using that as your justification. That's why Jehoshaphat thought he was safe too. He's thinking like some of you thinking. Well, I know Yahuwah with me, because if he wasn't with me, I'd have been dead. Fool. No, he just gave you mercy, and you gonna die if you don't cut it out. That's why he sent the prophet to warn the man. He said, man, you understand that the only reason he killed your ass because you did get rid of these idols and all these things, but you still playing around. You still dabbling in this world. You still over here doing what you want to do. You're still lying and conniving and plotting. Still being hateful. Still being selfish. Well, Sister Yahuwah is warning you. You too, brother. I wonder what he thought about last Wednesday when you blew off the word. And you knew the word would be there because I said it every time. In every message you can hear me talking about, at least for the last 100 plus messages, Wednesday night Tanakh studies. You know it's true. But you blew it off then, and many of you are going to blow it off this coming Wednesday if you hadn't killed you already. You'll blow it off again, or the Wednesday after that. You'll find some justification. The losers always do. The quitters always find a reason to quit. You didn't know that? That's why they are quitters. There'll always be some reason to quit. But boldness, we tell excuses, nah, not interested. I'll fight. I'll fight. I'll fight to the end. Because I know I'm going to win anyway. As long as I'm fighting for Yahuwah's Torah and for my righteous brethren and sisters. Not the one who you think are righteous, because that's your perversion. You're always going to cater to the ones who cater to you. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about the ones who are on this Torah and this Torah and this Torah. The one that will never, thumb their nose up at Yahuwah because they don't like what's written in this book. They don't agree with it. Yahuwah's not with you. That's you. That's you with you. You praying to devils. Yahuwah's not listening to your prayers. Satan is, though. The magicians. The miracle workers. That's what they are. All these pastors talking about they're going to be doing miracles. Do you realize that's what magicians did in the time of these pharaohs? That's why it's all in the church. The church is Babylon. The church is Egypt. That's why these kings always had these magicians around here. Do a miracle. Do a trick for me. Remember Balaam's 2 sons? They were able to mock what Moses and Aaron were doing with the rod. Remember Balaam said, these magical tricks been going, these miracles been going on in the church. Long time. Yeah, but they were from devils. And they're still from devils. And many of you are going in these churches looking for a miracle. That wicked doll. You got something going on next week or week after next. Come on, people, we're going to feed you. We're going to do miracles. I told you he's a wizard. He's a warlock. He's a devil. And all them little she-devils, so-called he-devils, because they emasculated fools, because everything he said they laugh at. Oh, you're so smart. While you were playing football, you got your head racked up so many goddamn times, idiot. Your brains are scrambled. Doll is not smart. He's a hustler. He's a pimp. I mean, they ain't nothing but who follow a bunch of wannabe hustlers and pimps. But yeah, he gonna do magic for them. I'm gonna do some miracles. He's a wizard. Better go back and read Deuteronomy chapter 18. He says, what? You'll say, I'm gonna destroy these wizards. I'm gonna destroy these warlocks, these witches, these conjurers. So many of you in these churches, in this miracle, I just want you to know those are the magicians. The gods of this world always surround themselves with these magicians, these miracle workers. You don't hear these prophets of Yahuah talking about doing no miracle. They say Yahuah is the power. You don't need to do no goddamn miracles. You obey his Torah and you'll be blessed. David said you'll be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. Leaf will never wither, will bear fruit in season. Not now, when you get through the process. Right now it's germination time. In other words, we're supposed to be getting strong for these, how you say, evil days that are here and even worse days that are coming. Germinate. The word should be germinating in your heart. And if you expect to see Yahuwah's blessing, you had better be letting it germinate in your heart. And a part of that germination is your obedience to this truth, to this Torah, and to righteous leadership, righteous teachings. Don't be like Jehoshaphat, just because you got lucky one or two times. Oh, I know Yahuwah. That prophet said, no, he isn't. No, he's not, Jehoshaphat. Yeah, you did a few things right, but I'm going to tell you something. You don't cut it out. The same thing that happened to Saul is going to happen to you. I said each and every one of you. The same thing that happened to, your predecessors, our predecessors will happen to you. Ain't no shortcut here. Ain't no almost. There's nobody to blame. You blame yourself. You get it right. So I gave you teachings. I gave you instructions. I gave you leadership. I gave you a prophet. Listen to him and do what he tells you to do. I speak through him. No, I don't talk to you one-to-one. I talk to him face to face. Yeah, I can do other things for you. But if you ignore him and you resist him and you rebel against him, then I'm going to rebel against you. It's all written in the book. Go read Deuteronomy 18 and 15 if you don't believe it. Go read Ezekiel 33 and 33 if you don't believe me. Go read the book of Ezekiel chapter, what is that? Let's go there real quick. I have to guess at it. Hallelujah. I'm almost certain it's chapter 18, but it might be chapter 3. But look at this, brothers and sisters. Hallelujah. It's all for our learning, all for our teaching. Hallelujah. To strengthen the strong and to remind the wicked. Hallelujah. Share this video, thumb it up if you haven't already. He goes on to say this. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 3, verse 17. Son of Adam, I have made you a watchman into the house of Yasharel. Said, I made this man the watchman of all of us, all of you. He said, I made him a watchman to the house of Yasharel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. And when I say unto the wicked, you shall surely die, and you give him not a warning, nor speak to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life. That's what this teaching is about, to save your life, even though you think somebody's trying to take your life or control your life or manipulate your life. That's called perverted. Yahuah say good, you say evil. He say evil, you say good. That's not what Isaiah 5 and 21 through 23 is talking about. Woe to them who call good evil and evil good. But he says this clearly. He says, you warn him from his wicked, if you speak, if you give him not warning, nor speak to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man will die in his or her wickedness. So just because I didn't tell you don't mean you're not going to hell. You're going anyway. You're going to burn for your wicked ways. You won't change them. But his blood I require at your hand. Yet if you warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his wickedness, but you have delivered your own soul. This is how concise Yahuah is with the watchman. The watchman has no choice. He had better come out and say what I'm saying. I had better do it. Yahuah is telling me. I said, you better do it. He said, I'll throw your ass in the fire with gasoline draws on. But he don't have to do that with me. Like I said, I have the discipline. I have the resiliency. I don't quit. Not a damn quitter. I fight. Just like David said, the strength of Yahuah teaches my hand to fight, my fingers to war against any and all enemies of Yahuah. Any and all enemies of Yahuah. Any and all enemies of Yahuah. Be you female or male, friend, new friend, old friend, or wannabe friend. I will fight your ass if you come against Yahuah with everything I have. But if you stand up for Yahuah, you stand up for this truth, I will stand up with you with everything I can do to the degree that I can do it. There ain't no fools here. I'm nobody's goddamn fool. I'll help you if you're trying to help your damn self. But if you're too lazy to get up your ass and get a second job or do whatever you got to do, help your man win, then you deserve what you get. The prophet told, what did the angel tell Gideon? Gideon, Judges chapter 7. Get up, Gideon, get up. Show yourself as a man. And as men, we're supposed to do whatever we have to do to get the job done. We start strong and we finish stronger. Again, we start strong and we finish stronger. That's what men do. Let's go back over to Proverbs. Not done. Then we're going to go one other place, y'all willing. Hallelujah. Picking back up, Proverbs chapter 1, verse 33. He goes on to say, but whosoever hearkens to me shall dwell safely and shall be quieted from fear of evil. So you want to avoid the calamities that are coming. You don't want Yahuah to laugh at your face, laugh in your face. You don't want him to mock you when your fear comes, when your trouble comes. You had better turn your back to him, and you better mean it. You better show it. You better quit playing. You better be where you're supposed to be according to what Yahuah said. Not because elders say you need to be here Wednesday night. Yahuah said, who are those who want to learn and hear the ways of Yahuah? Let them come and hear my prophet. That's what Yahuah said. He said it to Enoch. He said, Enoch said, who don't want to learn the ways of Yahuah? Not go to Yahuah. No, come to me. And I'm going to tell you what he said. So no, Yahuah didn't send for your ass. The prophet sent for you. And whether you came or didn't come, that's on you. Again, verse 3, but whosoever hearkens unto me shall dwell safely, and they shall be quiet. And we're protected when the evil comes. But that's not an automatic. That's not some, guarantee because you Israel. Hell no, that's only if you take and stand 10 toes down, 2 fists up, and show up. And just like I said, when you're in the heathen world, bring your own bottle. When you went to their stuff, I don't know if I broke that out. BYOB, bring your own bottle. Where you want something to drink, you bring your own drink. That's what it means, your strong drink or your wine or whatever you were bringing. He said, when you come before me, you better not come empty-handed. Just like when you went before them heathens for your pleasure. You didn't go there empty-handed. That's why David said, I will offer you nothing that did not cost me something. And the biggest thing is your change. That's what he wants more than anything else. A repentant heart, a contrite spirit who will obey, who will submit to authority. And it's only you who can decide that for yourself. Nobody else is to blame. You own it. You're not going to be able to go before Yahuah and say, such and such made me do it. He said, no, ain't no devil made you do a damn thing. You did it. I saw you. You heard the word. I was watching you the whole time. I saw your little conniving, plotting ass. Your cunning slick. Looking for loopholes. Just like Yahuah shunned wickedness, he told me do the same thing. You shun wickedness. What shun means? You put them away from you. You've given them my word. You trust my word, son, me. He said there is no curse without no cause. So if they feeling a curse or something ain't right, it's because of something they're doing. And it's not your responsibility to find it out. He said their sin will find it out for them. They'll make a shitty decision and they're going to have to live with the consequences of it, is what he's saying. They're going to turn back like a dog to the vomit. Or even worse, be destroyed. Because they would not stop it. They couldn't. Wasn't enough incentive for them. They didn't want to put that kind of dedication to this. They wanted to hustle. They brought that street, BYOB, before Yahuah. You say, I'm old. Strike you down in the day of your trouble. So I ain't going to protect you from the wild animals, from murder, from the dogs and the birds that's going to eat and tear you apart. So I ain't going to protect you. Why should I? You didn't care about me. You only cared about yourself. All you cared about is what I could do for you. What you could get by serving me. You say, I know you. I knew you before you were born in your mother's womb, you were going to be wicked. You were going to be religious. But he said, but anyway, I'm still going to give you righteous teachings. Whether you do it or not, that's up to you. He said, but I'm going to give you the righteous teachings. He said, if you choose to listen, this is what you can expect. Go to the book of Joel, chapter 2. Hallelujah. I love Yahuah with all my heart, all my mind, and all my strength. I know I'm not making any friends, but I ain't here to make friends. I'm just here to expose the enemies. Enemies of Yahuah are my enemies. What did David say? I hate those that hate Yahuah. He said, I hate them with a perfect hatred. He said, they are my enemies. I feel the same way. Book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 21. Fear not, O land, and be glad and rejoice, for Yahuah will do great things. Be not afraid, you beasts of the field, for the pastures of wilderness do spring, for the trees bear fruit. The fig tree and the vine do yield their strength. In other words, Yahuah said he's going to replenish this earth. This earth is going to be refreshed, brothers and sisters. So that's what he's talking to the earth. He said, give it time. I'm going to deal with this heathenistics, these heathens who are plunderers and scorched earth predators. So I'm going to deal with them. He said, they've hurt you, but I'm going to hurt them for hurting you. He goes on to say this, verse 23. He said, the children of Zion rejoice and be glad in Yahuah, because he gives us righteous teaching, which descends on us like a teaching rain in the latter rain in the first year. But he said what? These are for what? Those who believe. He said the children of Zion, he's talking about those who are righteous children of Zion. Those are the ones, he said, they're going to seek the teaching. They're going to run to the teachings. They will be there. The sister Coates, the brother Boot, the brother and sister, Nelson, the Shabazz family, Katrina, Isaiah, brother Franklin, brother Willoughby, Sister Angelina, Sister Amira, Sister Anita, Sister Billups. Some of the ones who always going to be there. Ain't almost going to be there. They're going to be there. And they're going to let you know they're there. And others, but a very few. But he said the world was made for many, but only a few would be saved. So if you're not there for a reason. And for those of you who are there, you're there for a reason. Sister Deborah, forget you. These are the ones that I could validate. Brother Zachariah, Sister Mariska. But I'll say this to all of us. Being there is not enough. Where are your fruit? You can put a seed in the ground and there is no water. It's just going to be scorched earth that's just going to kill that seed. That seed's going to die right there in the ground. So coming is not enough. But coming is important. You ain't going to get no fruit. First, you got to put the fruit in the ground. But for it to germinate, it's got to be what? It's got to be fed. For you to grow, you got to be fed. And if you think being fed is too much for you because you can just do it on your own, then you're going to find out when that sickness hits your ass and you can't do nothing about it, then you're going to cry out for Yahuah and he ain't going to hear you because you've been rebellious and you know you're being rebellious. But now you're trying to be slick. What about this? What if that? You can delete it all you want to delete it. It ain't changed a damn thing. Book said there's no curse without no cause. There's no sickness without a cause. We talked about that again on this past Wednesday night in the Tanakh study. With all these things coming, all this distraction out there, you still can't see that they're hiding something in plain sight that they know, brothers and sisters, this is over with. I'm talking about this thing that you so much want to embrace, this thing that got you so worried. Worried about what? You better be worried about your soul, where it's going to spend eternity. All this other stuff, it's over with. You don't know it's over with because it's like a fire that's burning out of control, but nobody has warned the people who on this side of the mountain that there's, a blazing inferno on the other side of the mountain. So they sitting over here watching television while their neighbors are getting burned to death. And pretty soon that fire going to come over that mountain and they're next. That's for every one of you who are distracted. That's your warning. You better take your head out the oven of your ass so you can smell the grass that's burning. Oh, I know you want it soft. Well, you ain't getting it soft. You're getting it straight. No chaser. Who is not a tender, delicate man, and he don't suffer tender, delicate women. Men do, he doesn't. Those are cursed people. Those are the behaviors of one who is cursed. But Yahuah said, if you put your trust in me, you'll never be ashamed. He said this, he says what? And picking back up at Joel chapter, picking up at 23. Let's read 23 one more time. The children of Zion rejoice, and he said, children of Zion rejoice and be glad in Yahuah Almighty, because he gives us righteous teachings, which descends upon us like a teaching and a latter rain, a refreshing rain. Brother Piani, Prince Piani, Brother Mendez. This is serious business, brothers. This is not a game. How could it be a game when you can be destroyed for eternity? How could you take it so lightly? I can't. I wake up every day thinking about the end. Not because I'm afraid. I want to make sure that I'm where I'm supposed to be doing what I'm expected to be doing. I mean, look behind me. It's dark out there. And I started 2.5 hours ago. You don't have to question my dedication. You don't have to question my commitment. If you got up today and you watching me, then I've already established who I am. What about you? When are you going to establish who you are? When are you going to get engaged? When are you going to actually do something other than talking to help and assist with the work? When? When are you going to bear fruit? You know, we were told in the book of Ecclesiastes, let's go there and then we'll wrap it up. Hallelujah. Maybe. Maybe not. So all of you slowful ones think that somehow or another you ain't got to do anything, but you're supposed to be getting something. You just deserve it because you say so. That's a lie. What is Sirach chapter 20, verse 25 says that, what he said, a thief and a liar. A thief and a liar, a robber and a liar are both going to be destroyed, including the lie you tell yourself because you think you're right. But there's nothing in the book to validate your behavior. Your righteousness. But this book tells us, brothers and sisters, here's clear, right? Here's another example. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 6. It says, in the morning, sow your seed. Remember we were talking about putting the seed in the ground and letting it germinate. You got to water it. You got to do something. You want it to bear fruit. You can't just read this Torah and don't change. You can't just, read this Torah and then do the parts you want to do, but the parts that interfere with what you want to do, you just dismiss it as though it doesn't matter. That's like you're telling Yahuah to his face, he doesn't matter. He said every word of Yahuah is a pure word, not the one you agree with or disagree. He said every single word is a pure word. And it's only a shield to those who what? Keep it. Obey it. Trust it. That's what trusting means. To keep and to obey. Or obey and keep obeying. However way you want to say it. He says in the morning, sow your seed. That means you're supposed to be doing something. And in the evening, withhold not your hand. Means you're not supposed to be selfish. You're not supposed to be content. You're not supposed to be laying around doing nothing. Whistling Dixie, as they say down south. Twiddling your thumbs on the internet. YouTube, Facebook. That's what twiddling your thumbs mean. So you know not whether Yahuah shall prosper, either this or that, or whether they both will be good alike. In other words, both will be blessed. If you are active, if you are assertive, if you own the outcome. It's time to take responsibility for ourselves, brothers and sisters. It's time to get our heads, out of the cloud, the internet, the cloud, get it? And get your feet on the ground, 10 toes down, 2 fists up. While it's still time. Some of you have. The vast majority of you have not. And Yahuah said you wouldn't do it, by the way. But as you heard me read out of the book of Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17, I still have to warn you. You're not going to change your wickedness, but I'm still, before Yahuah, accountable to warn you. Because if I don't warn you, then he's going to deal with me. Like he's going to deal with you for not heeding the warning. So I'm doing my part. So I'm in the morning sowing my seed. In the evening, I'm not twiddling my thumbs. And I know and I expect to be blessed of Yahuah. Because his word is true. So, I guess the question I'll leave you with is, what about you? Only you can answer that one. But remember, your words mean nothing if it's not followed up with action. And everybody is accountable for taking action and for your action. And don't forget it. That being said, I want to thank all you brothers and sisters who are helping and supporting this work. Much appreciated. Yahuah seed, that is sowing seed, I might add. I also want to thank you all who have thumbed up the video and those who share it. And if you're hearing this channel for the first time and you're serious about where you're going to spend eternally, thumb it up, and you need to be with us on Wednesday night. We'll be there. The righteous remnant, the few. You can count on it. So Yahuah shuts it down. That being said, Shabbat Shalom. Remember, there's no curse without a cause. Go look in the mirror. Deal with your shit before Yahuah deals with you. Shalom.